chicks I smash with these bricks, you can pay me in Bitcoin Cash.
Yes, massive Wagwan. Andrew Robinson here, Jamaican brother there. Reaching out to all the massive on the African continent. And you're tuning into the Massive English Show with your host, none other than Jody, from Monday to Friday. Stay tuned. Andrew Robinson,
Airplane mode to ignore them. Yeah, we all play so I don't fear them. I can't talk to them, work up in the chair, man. Can't fuck with them, got they fuck man. She asked if I could tell her, say how many? How many man change? Too many. You can get left by the Benjamin Mendy. Or she want to Fenty and clothes in the Bentley. Rap niggas, I supply bricks. I got 3 phones, one's for my side chicks. So you better feel special if I let you in my life. All friendly in the DM, that can never be my wife. You getting too attached by need space. Trying to turn this Nokia into a briefcase. Chicks, I got plenty. Brums all the miles away, I'll get there in 45 minutes in this Bentley. Pussy so good, got me coming crunch. I hit you from the back like a soccer punch. Been to your hood, you block sweet. Used to have to stream the football, now we watch it from the box seat. See the dying on my chicks that I smash with these bricks. You can pay me in Bitcoin or cash. I say NSG. I'm busy, my shy back when I'm free, and that's never been more to ignore them. Yeah, we all play so I don't fear them. I can't talk to them, work up in the chair, man. Can't fuck with them, got they fuck well, man. Shit, if I could tell her, say how many man change? Too many. You can get that brother, Benjamin Mendy. Or she want to Fenty and food in the bed. Sound free cocky, sex on neck, what she calls me. Chilling with some mobsters dressed like Gillis, you know, ASAP Rocky. She wanna munch me like a key. Stress free, boy, I ain't free yet. Face my fears in my chest yet. Backstreet boy, you know we want it that way. Them man only shop on Black Fridays.
Look, boys praying on my down, but keep it moving, you can't stop me now. From the any ball when we touch down, yeah, we shut down and we get pound. See, I'm a star, the last more the best love. If I show my face, you gotta pay me now, yeah. What's the point of being broke when they all fake? I'm just trying to get this money, fuck being big.
Airplane mode to ignore them. Yeah, we all play so I don't fear them. I can't talk to them, work up in the chair, man. Can't fuck with them, got they fuck well, man. She asked if I could tell her, say how many man change? Too many. You can get left by the Benjamin Mendy. Or she want to Fenty and cruise in the Bentley. Leaving my vibe, I don't. Don't fuck up my soul. You get prize what we know, but you can't blame us, screw up, bro. So tonight, just wanna have a good one. She just so good, how can we have to finish good, I'm tryna be the best me. Tryna live my life for stress free. But they won't drain my energy. So I protect you from the masjid. Now I feel a top away. And this I ain't missing. Not a fly away. Not a girl jive. Came a long way looking back. Now the war's full of black. Bet my teacher fight and the pies and equal teeth. They were dead wrong, like my girl sucking with a teeth. I know that girl, she had to lie the Virgin Mary. But she busted open like a boiler Henny. I'm the central dripping like a foreigner. Speaking money language, I ain't hearing ya. Airplane mode to ignore them. Yeah, we your place, so I don't fear them. I can't talk to them, wake up in the gym, man. Can't fuck with them, got they fuck grandma. She acting fuck together. How many mansions? Too many. You can get them brother Benjamin Mendy. Or she want to fend food in the bed. Yes, welcome family. Karibuni sana to yet another episode of the Pan-African Bliss right here on the Black Hot Fan Network radio station. Media of the 21st century. It is exactly 5 minutes to the top of the hour and Sana, and of course feel free to follow in you're streaming live with us from. We also have issues with our connectivity, but in case of anything, I also got myself covered. So we shall be able to proceed with the conversation, nonetheless, none the hitches. Okay, Karibuni sana. We shall be talking about Kenya today, and apparently Kenya has approved after 7 days. Last 7 days, actually, they did delay on the deployment of the Kenyan police into Haiti. Mind you, we did receive some funds that was from the UN and the US, and Ruto did pocket this money. And I think we've been having this discussion over and over and over again, how negative of this information it is, especially it's literally genocide we're talking about. We're talking about people who have been funded weapons by the US, and we're talking about people who do not have literally serious weapons to go and fight or literally maintain the peace that is required in Haiti. So we shall be talking about that as our major focus of the day. I want to read the article that was released 7 days ago. Kenya delaying the deployment of the police officers due to the unmet training and funding condition. And today, actually, they have already approved this. The Parliament of Kenya has already approved. So I'm literally confused because as still as the confusion is there, we knew this was going to happen. This is not like it's a coincidence. The money was already pocketed, so there was no backing out away from this. That should be our major focus of the day, Kenya, and the decision it has made on the deployment of the police officer. We shall also be focusing on the UN, keeping and maintaining peace on the Central African Republic. I discussed this yesterday personally, and we talked about how it's going to be super, super hectic and crazy if Congo was to be literally taken back by Africans. And you can see it's going to be impossible because so far they have divided the country into 3 different parts. I mentioned them yesterday. We have the Central African Republic, we have the small Congo, and the DRC Congo. This was once a one nation, but due to all this greediness of resources and everything that they have in the displacement of people in the DRC Congo, it has been super, super crazy. So karibuni sana, that shall be our major focus of the day. And of course, more news and updates. Back to the music, that was Nines featuring NSG, one of my favorite jam. And of course, I play it as a TBT because it was released few years ago, actually, I think 2 years ago, and this is still among my favorite on the Nines feature. Karibuni sana. We shall be getting back to one more banger, then coming back with the quote of the day. So remember to keep me motivated in case you have anything positive you'd love to also share with me. This is J Haas with Playing Chess, and I hope you guys get to enjoy this. Karibuni sana once again. The game that I'm playing, you don't know how to play. When I got my first match, I had to learn how to spray. It's a feeling that I can't describe. I know how it feels, but I can't really say it. It's like so much work that I need to mash. The game that I'm playing, you don't know how to play. When I got my first match, I had to learn how to spray. It's a feeling that I can't describe. I know how it feels, but I can't really say it. It's like a mental orgasm. It's like a spiritual orgasm. That's why I do it with more passion. So much work that I need to mash it. I love my niggas, treat them like my cousins. Avoid all the bullshit and the nonsense. Take time out to clear your conscience. More love, more blessings in abundance. Don't let nothing knock your confidence. Fuck the negative comments, see the compliments. Just like my first album, need common sense. Cause life gets hard, it gets intense. Fuck them niggas sitting on the fence. Get down or lay down, I said what I meant. I grew up on Michael Jackson and 50 Cent. As a young boy listening to many men, I did let myself go, but never again. You have to stay solid, tell them again. You have to stay solid, I gave you a gem. And if you ask me for smoke, give them a blem. Game that I play, you don't know how to play. When I got my first match, I had to learn how to spray. It's a feeling that I can't describe. I know how it feels, but I can't really say it. It's like a meditative orgasm. It's like a spiritual orgasm. That's why I do it with more passion. So much work that I need to master. Last night I couldn't sleep. I was just tossing and turning. Couldn't wait to get up and start earning. First we clean up and get rid of all the vermin. I wake up and open the curtain. I know myself and I'm very certain. You know when you see me in person. No more pain and no more hurting. Yeah. Get up and hustle, don't feel sorry for yourself. Get that generation of can't play with me, I play just by myself. Yeah. God favors me and He bless me with health. Come pray for me, go and pray for yourself. Just put me in the room, it's some sexy. The game that I play, you don't know how to play. When I got my first match, I had to learn how to spray. It's a feeling that I can't describe. And my God is it. It's a magic orgasm. It's like a spiritual orgasm.
Yes, and my quote is the smile on my face doesn't mean my life is perfect. It means that despite my challenges, I choose to focus on my blessings. And of course, I wish you nothing but just a beautiful, beautiful Thursday, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the time is on your end. Karibuni sana once again. This is the Black-Fire Network radio station, media of the 21st century. And my name is Joby, in case you're tuned in for the first time. It is exactly 1 minute past 1 right here in the 254. To our amazing first time listeners, I wouldn't mind you letting me know where you listen to me from. And of course, big up once again to everyone who's on Facebook, on YouTube, both channels, and those who are listening to me on the radio station, those who are live with me on Rumble, those who get to catch this on Spotify, on Spreaker, and also on BitChute. Shout out to all our amazing listeners. Shout out to Malelu. Karibu sana kucheki. Thank you so much for tapping the screen for me. Say hello, this is Malelu. Can I ask you something? Yes, sure. Go ahead. Karibu sana. And to everyone who's with us, go ahead and pull your question. And of course, Karibu sana to the Black-Fire Network. Joe Mosquito, Karibu. What's up, Joby? I'm good. How are you today? Nice to see you. And just saying, J Haas is from my area. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, your area boy. Area boy. Them London boy. Yeah, I played literally the London boys. Also, NSJ think they're also all the way from the UK, if I'm not wrong. And of course, Karibu sana. I also see Polyamorous in the building. I also see, I saw Podium in the building. I talk about Podium, I'm a nanny. But anyway, to everyone with us, welcome to today's episode. Straight to the matters of the day. I want to start with what is happening in the Central Africa Republic. So the UN peacekeeping forces are back in the Central Africa Republic. I mean, what are they doing here? And I love literally looking into details before we even get into this. I want to see for how long has the UN been keeping in the Central Africa Republic. Let's ask Google. For how long has the UN been keeping peace at the Central Republic? Maintaining peace, literally. I said keeping, but maintaining. Yeah, so they're saying that the Security Council today decided, that is today, not today. I want articles from long time ago. I want to know the peacekeeping operation, when it started. Let me just ask the question. When did the peacekeeping operation start in the Central Africa Republic? Okay, so that is in the 13th. Okay, so that is what we have. So that was in 1998. Yeah. Resolution 1159 in 1998, and it was replaced in 2000 after the Central Africa Republic conducted 2 peaceful elections. So that is when it began. But they are back. They are back. So what is happening? Let me share my screen and get to the article. As always, that is me, and I'm going to do that. So let me share the screen very quickly before I get to read what is going on. So they're saying that the UN Security Council has extended the mandates for another 12 months. They have been there. It's not like they're back. They have been there. The UN Security Council has extended the mandate for another 12 months of the UN peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic, known as MINUSCA. 14 of the 15 council members voted on Wednesday to renew the mission, asking it to continue advancing reconciliation and durable peace through political, security, and institutional means. MINUSCA was also urged to protect human rights and assist in preparation for local election in 2024 and 2025. Russia abstained from the vote after its representatives said the resolution to extend the mandate contained some elements which did not reflect the current situation in the country. Moscow maintains the close ties with the Central African Republic, and the influence of people believed to be from Wagner machinery groups is perceptible in the government's fight against the local rebels. Local rebels, they say. The Russia and Central African forces have been accused of atrocities and human rights violation in their operation. The UN has maintained its peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic since 2014, they say, a year after a civil war plagued the country into political instability. The mission is made up of 4,400 troops and 3,020 police officers whose priority is to protect civilians and preserve the country's territory integrity. Rebels group continue to stage attacks in several parts of the mineral-rich country, despite the 2019 agreement on peace and reconciliation. This is all lies. We know that. We know better, Africans. We know better. At this point, we understand better. So we have 14 of the 15 councils. I'd love to know the rest of the 14 councils that have not been mentioned. Most Central African Republic, they're always maintaining relationships and all that. But the Russian Central Africa forces have been accused of human peacekeeping since 2014. So what is happening right here? In general, we're talking about not just the Central African Republic. We're talking about the Central African Republic. We're not just, listen to me very carefully. We're not just talking about the Central African Republic, but we're talking about the Central African Republic, Congo, the small Congo, and the DRC Congo. Like I said yesterday, I didn't even know this is going to pull up today. Yesterday, I said I'm certain the displacement of the people, according to my understanding so far, I'm certain it's not just happening in DRC. If they did manage to divide this into 3 parts, and which they are willing to split it into more, because it's a mineral-rich country. You want to tell me it's only the DRC people who are suffering? I totally would fail to. I don't want to believe that, because I believe it's not like that. I believe they're doing actually much more, not only to the DRC people, but to the Congolese people, the small Congo, and also the Central African Republic. These people, in general, what they should do is live. You've been here since 1998, years in this country, not maintaining peace, but seeing your tracks, literally living with mounds of gold. I questioned something some time back, and I'd love you, for those who are with me on YouTube and TikTok. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to those who are tapping the screen. I'd love to know who checks the UN trucks when they're coming to Africa, how much of the food they're giving in terms of aid. They claim, yes, they're here to feed us because we have food insecurity. But I want to ask, since we have poor insecurity of food, and the security itself, which we don't have in Africa, where we need the UN to come and give us security, who gets to check when they're protecting our territory, which is not protecting but stealing? Who gets to check when they are delivering the food? Who counter-checks the food, the amount of food we're given? Because I bet there's no one. We believe these people so much to the point I'm certain there's nobody who follows up on the aid being given to African people. If there's empty trucks which are literally passing through the borders, coming to steal gold, then they take their flights and leave. This is what is happening. But on this other matter, which is our major focus, the Central African Republic, they're here to extend their mandate, but they're not here to protect people. You see how greedy these people are and selfish how they are? They're here to extend their mandate, but when it comes to the peace of the people, when we ask you to leave politely, you want to make it a war. That's what they have been doing. When we ask them politely, like your talker, it's a war they want to literally force on African people. They kill civilians. They butcher civilians, left, right, and center. Shout out to you, Triple K. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. That's what they are doing. All this extension, and I blame again all these puppets of these countries, all of them. Tsikedi, and I'd share a video. Tsikedi himself said and ordered during the UN National Assembly meeting. He asked these people to leave the country. You've not been maintaining peace. All you gotta do is leave, which I agree with. But the way we talk with so much remorse and so much literally, calmness, trust me, this is not gonna happen. African people are going to be displaced for the rest of their lives if no one is going to stand up for them. We're gonna see millions. We're talking about 7 million people right now in the DRC Congo who are displaced. We're talking about fathers being killed because this is happening. People are being killed in the DRC Congo, in all parts of Congo, because I don't just believe it's the DRC Congo itself. Again, I want to make that clear. I believe this war and butchering and displacement of the people is happening in the DRC, the Central African Republic, and Congo, the small Congo itself. What have these puppets done? It's always mumble talking, signing deals left, right, and center, telling us how we should rekindle our relationship with these people who have tortured us and keep on torturing us. That's what they keep on telling us. Or, the British people, we know they colonized you, but that is past history. It's not past, because this is still happening. Colonization is still happening. We're literally talking about neocolonialism right now. Chinese, Asians are all literally taking over Africa because of the loans, amounts of loan we owe these people out of nothing, but out of literally stealing resources. We owe these people for them stealing resources. Make that make sense, my dear people, my listeners. How do we owe these people so much amount of money? Like Ghana. What does Ghana owe the IMF, the World Bank? All these same created organizations that are given different names to make us think, it's another ally that is doing better and charging Africans better, because that's what they say. If this one is giving you loan, the other one is overcharging you, so you need to pick this one. We don't actually understand, African people, that these are all created. Thank you for the gift. They're all created by the same people, the Rothschild and the Rockefellers. Same system, working the same way, just given, labeled different names. The AU, the UN, the AU, the AU, the AU, the EU, the UN, Moscow, all of them. All of them you can mention. Controlled by the same people, formed by the same people, just given different names. This is crazy. What in general I want to say in this should not be happening. Congo, we have election, like they have said, in the next coming year. And I debated about this last week. It should not happen. Elections in Congo should not happen. Literally, this should be taken very serious. Elections in Congo should be dismissed. It should be dismissed. Let peace be restored fast in this country. Let people gain their lands back, which they're exploiting. Let people find their peace. Let children go back to school. We were surprised still with all that is happening, the level of literacy, not illiteracy. Level of literacy in Congo is high. I was surprised with all this still going on. Congolese people, are very intelligent, very well informed, very well educated. I was surprised by this. With all the displacement of the children, the parents, having to move from one location to another, finding a way to start your life. These puppets, once again, they are to blame. These renewals and non-renewal of all these stupid forces that are here to steal should stop. What we need is Africa solving its own problems. We don't need no Europeans giving us no solution to our own problems that they have created, because that is what it is. We don't need no Antonio Guterres, no Kamala Harris, no Joe Biden, no Hillary Clinton, none of these people giving us any decision what we should and should not do. And since I cannot sit alone, we need to be so many of us. My voice won't matter because I'm just alone. I may be knowing too much, but I can't move alone. I need masses. We need to be so many of us to be able to take back the continent. And this is why I say, if Africa were educated enough, it would be so easy for us to be able to save the rest of the African countries by demonstrating. Me understanding what is happening in Congo is wrong. I should be here demonstrating. My president, who is President William Ruto, should be able to hear our cry because on behalf of our fellow brothers and sisters. They should be able to sit down with Skedi. Ugandans should also do the same. Cry for the Congolese. Our problem is that we lack unity, not only within our country, but also as a continent. We're so uneducated to not understand what we face here in Kenya is the same problem a Congolese is facing, is the same problem a Ugandan is facing, is the same problem a Ghanaian is facing. That is what we fail to understand, African people. You want to literally describe yourself with all this ethnical bullshit. You think it's all about jealousy? You know? You think it's all about competition? Of course, countries need to compete in terms of the economical growth. That is true. We need to see that happening. And this has to happen by us trading with each other. But we see what is happening. We see African countries not being able to trade with each other because there's a better ally who can benefit much or can give me much more than you. Basically, this is what it shows. Museveni just decided to no longer be supplying oil with Kenya, but gave a whole Arabic country the permission to grant them so much money. And what is funny, like we were discussing the other time, they're going to still go back and buy oil from the same people they're selling to. Brains. Brains, I tell you. Again, as I finish up on that story of DRC Congo, elections should be dismissed. We don't want to see the UN troops. If Skedi was really serious, we should be seeing this happening the same way we saw Niger taking actions immediately. If he was really serious, we should be seeing Congolese fearlessly moving, demonstrating towards the UN embassy to leave. So should the Central African Republic. So should the small Congo. And let these countries be united. Let these people realize they have been divided. And I think they know. Congolese do understand this actually. The Central African Republic, the small Congo, the DR, all of them, I think they do understand this. They have been divided by force because Rwanda is being used to fight them. And Uganda. What always makes me laugh when I discuss majority of these things, it's how funny it is. You are a sellout of your own people, but at the end of the day, I can't trust you. Even if I used you, I'm still gonna get rid of you because you are a traitor. That's what you show. So that's why I think we've discussed this a couple of times. They're gonna use puppets and still destroy them because they made them. I made you who you are today. You are recognized as a president or a puppet. You claimed you have power only. They only claim, like I said, they only claim they have power when they're in the continent. These people don't have any power. They're only going to brag to us African people because the education, the system of education we're given is very backward. We don't understand anything. We think all this development we have, oh, Kenya has been ranked as the #1 top city. Are you crazy? Have you looked at Kenya at a better angle? If you are a Kenyan, I see city at a better angle. It looks like a zombie apocalypse, my friend. There's no development we have here. These backward Chinese made up roads. This is what we're calling development. Poorly constructed 50-year-old backward type of things is what we're calling development. And we're here beating our chest, very proud. Well, we should be demonstrating about this. We're paying billions for backward trains that are very slow and very uncomfortable. Can you imagine that? I mean, I have not been in a train. I'm going to be in one. Maybe. I've not been in a train, but we see the compliments of people. When you go through the compliments of people, you see complaints, nothing but just complaints. It's so sad. It is so, so sad. But you guys, let me know how you feel about the situation in the Central African Republic, where the UN has renewed its peacekeeping force mandate. Since 2014, they have been there. And since we don't literally get much news and information about the Central African Republic, I think this is actually the first time I'm talking about the Central African Republic. It's never on the map most of the time. It is always the DRC Congo mentioned, or the small Congo when they tried to overthrow the current puppet when he was outside the country, you know. That's the only time we heard about Congo. But I'm certain these three countries, again, if you were to do clear investigations, if you were to get people to talk to us, like what is really going on, I'm certain they're the same problems, where they have these troops who have been deployed there to displace them, to steal gold with their trucks, which are here to give us food. Africa, the African continent has been taken so unserious. That's just how simple it is. But let me go through the comments very quickly on TikTok. I see we have Triple K says, Kwanza Billy Gates, why do they have an office? Yeah, the office of Bill Gates. I don't know about Bill Gates having an office, but I do know Bill Gates is a no good bastard. That's all I know. He's a no good bastard. You know, the African people think he's very wealthy, and through his funds, he's here to help us. That is just so sad. This is what I've also grown up listening and knowing Bill Gates is the richest man in the world. That's what they used to say before Elon Musk, I mean. They used to say Bill Gates is the stolen funds. Nobody say this is all stolen funds or given funds or their puppets being used, and that's why they have so much money. Nobody talks about it. Bill Gates is a no good person. Polyamora says, are you sure that the people that are here can figure out the solution alone? Of course not. Of course not. We need to be, that's what I'm saying, we need to be, so many of us as African people, we need to be able to pass knowledge very carefully, because understand also another thing. I don't know if you've tried it, polyamorous, but there's some people, if you try to give them the knowledge that you have, they think you're crazy. If you try talking to someone, let's say, even if you are in the diaspora, you tell them, you know, I want to go to Africa, they'll be looking at you crazy, like, what do you mean you want to go to Africa? Because of first the image of it, they now come to the people. It is hard to pass information, especially, let's say, to people who are so much religious. People are so much political oriented and can't literally think out of the box. It's so hard to convince such kind of people. So it's true. It is so hard for so many of us to come out with a solution. And this is why we need to be able to pass information to those who are teaching our younger ones, even the elder ones, in a very understanding way, so we can be able to come with a solution. Because if I go just so loudly, Like, yo, do you know this is a puppet? Do you know this is the... No, you will see it here on TikTok. We saw yesterday it was happening right here on the African Diary. Someone coming on the comment talking. They're not ready for the truth. That is just another problem. African people, I don't know if they are ready for the truth. I don't know how many of us are gonna be woke by the time we're gonna be tired, because I'm already tired. I really need me a revolution. I need me a coup. We need revolution. This is how simple it is. Poliana also said you need allies because many African leaders and wealthy have sold out the lower classes in Africa. I do agree with you, but it's like you coming to me and telling me, this is what I heard from one of the articles I remember I read some time back. There's this one African country that complained of them not wanting to take money anymore from the IMF and the World Bank, but prefer China because China is a better ally and because they do not charge overtax us, or they do not overtax us. That is what one of the article I read some time back it was saying. So Africans, it has gotten to the point where we think China is a better ally. Until now, they come and invade in your country. Talk about Zambia. Is anyone seeing what is happening in Zambia because of this better ally? Talk about Kenya now. We're learning Mandarin. We're having all types of, we have so far 2 China Square malls, okay? Malls. 2 Chinese Square malls in Kenya running. After the first one was demonstrated against, people complained of their market being tampered with. But no, the president didn't listen to this. Because who are you? Do we even know ourselves as African people? That is just also another question. Do we understand ourselves as African people? Do we understand who we're dealing with in terms of leadership? Do we understand how we need to be able to cope with our situation? And this is also, thank you for also asking that question, because this is what we were talking about also on Friday. Why you cannot come up with the idea, or you want to go on a revolution on an empty mind. You cannot go on a war. You're fighting with someone who has a gun or an arrow. It's like you using an arrow and a stone. I can dodge the stones, but I can aim you with a poisonous arrow and poison you and shoot you. Literally. It's like you're going on a knife on a war with someone who has a gun. Do you think you're going to win the battle? Of course not. That is us African people. Even with our demonstration, it is so clear. We go outside there thinking because the oppositions are our top presenters, but they are our top traitors, because when you die, nobody comes to the family and tells you, no, I'll cover up for the mess that happened during me supporting citizens to get a proper living. None of them is held accountable. None of them. None of them. But also see Triple K says, hiyo train ni bure. Tulipewa bure hapo unamaanisha nini? Unasema tulipewa sare. Is that what you mean? Do you mean like we were given for free? Or I don't know. I'd love to understand your point a little bit clearer. But that is what is happening in the Central Africa Republic, and it is super, super crazy. Personally, I do believe we do not need none of these people to maintain anything. The puppets are to blame. And I feel sorry for the civilians of Congo, the whole part of Congo. Let's not call it just the DRC, the Central, it's all part of Congo that has been divided. Peace should be restored in that country. But as we move on as well, I want to talk about also what is going on in Malawi. In Malawi, the president has cancelled all the foreign trips. Excuse me. In Malawi, all the trips, the foreign trips, have been suspended by the government. So they're saying that Malawi President Lazarus Chakwera has suspended with immediate effect all international travels involving himself and all government officials, he has ordered all the ministers currently outside the country to return home. Speaking in a televised address on Wednesday night, he also announced restrictions on local travel and reduction of half of the fuel allocation to cabinet ministers and senior government officials. Listen to this fool. Speaking on a televised address on Wednesday, he also announced restriction of local travel and a reduction of half of the fuel allocation to cabinet ministers and seniors and government officials. The measures will be placed until the end of the financial year next year, March. Some similar austerity measures were also announced during the COVID-19 pandemic, but had limited impact as they were not strictly enforced. The president asked the ministers to finance to make sure provision for a responsible wage increase of all civil servants in the next budget review. This is something positive. He also directed a reduction of income tax in the new budget so as to help workers whose pay has lost value as a result of inflation. The president's move has the International Monetary The president moves comes as the International Monetary Fund, which I'm just talking about, the IMF, approved a 4-year credit financial for Malawi worth $174 million just days after the country devalued its local currency. Last week, the central bank announced 44% drop in the value of the local currency. Analysis suggests that the devaluation may have a condition for securing the IMF credit facilities. Lies. While it is good what you're doing, we don't need all, and I think this is something we're discussing a few weeks ago, where we do not need all these unnecessary spendings. We do not require any of this unnecessary spending from the president. We saw 38 trips have been taken within a year by the president of Kenya, and he said he should not even be questioned because this is part of his work. But now Malawi, the excuse they are giving and taking much more money, it's crazy. When will Africa again realize the IMF? These puppets, I think they know though. You want to tell me these puppets, when they're taking money, they don't understand what they're really getting themselves into, or they just go blindly? Or they're just given the offer and they just sign? You want to tell me these puppets don't understand the IMF, the World Bank, all these created banks are controlled by the same people? China is not even a better ally, but it is also a puppet country that is used in the rest of the nations. You want to tell me that? Malawi, the situation of Malawi, literally, even with him doing this, the situation of Malawi is very, very bad. If you look at the amount of poverty in Malawi, let's see. It's the same like we say copy and pastes. So I bet still this is not gonna, personally, my own review on this, it's not gonna change a thing. This is not a decision that is going to change a thing for the people, for the country. Come next year, even when the budget is gonna be read, the situation might even be worse. The situation might even be worse. Let's look at this, the images. Look at the situation of Malawi. That's the type of images you have of Malawi. Look at the type of images you have of Malawi. I mean, look at the president. You've seen the president picture, very healthy. Look at the children. Kwashiako. This one's have Kwashiako. Literally. What I'd say on the positive level of it, if all these trips can literally not just be dismissed till March, they should be dismissed forever, in simple terms. Because what are these trips? That is what the rest of the African countries should do. What have these trips served to the African nations, the continent itself? Misuse of funds, coming back with loans, poor projects, poor infrastructure, everything poor. That is what we're talking about. All these trips, you're going to be summoned and dictated to how you should come and operate in your country. Well, it's something positive, that's all I'll say. To see the trips reduced. But again, come next year, you'll see the same thing happening. That is according to my understanding. Come next year, nothing is going to change for Malawi. Because if something was to change, these decisions are decisions that should be made from the word go. Once you are appointed as president, first thing you should do, get rid of all the international oriented businesses, okay? You do not need, and you should stand by that. If you're going to be literally democratically elected, and I'm not talking about the selection, if people are going to choose you to be a president for real, without having the international members, monitoring us, the EU telling us how happy they are about our results because they are the ones who are selecting, we need proper election. And if these schools who are literally meaning to change the lives of the people, the first thing they should have done is this. No more trips to the United States or any foreign country. No more organization called the EU, the UN, the AU. You should actually even withdraw from the AU itself. You've been a puppet, you should be able to understand none of these organizations that have been here before me are going to help. So what makes me think that now that I'm the president of Kenya or Malawi and I've found the AU already there organized and never favored or worked in favor of the African people, what should I think that is going to change for me being part of it? I should withdraw from it. I should be able to see from my previous presidents, from the previous leaders of the same country I want to serve, there's nothing it has done. That is how simple it is. I don't know what's your understanding on this, family, but that is what basically I see. Come 2024 March, and we're going to give reports about this. This is well noted in my head. Come next year March, nothing is going to change. The situation of Malawi, we said about the currency is literally depreciating already. So you want to tell me by you cutting all the foreign trips, you taking much more money from the IMF, that is going to save the situation? What are you talking about, literally? What the hell is this? What is that going to change anything? How is that going to change the situation of the Malawi people? Super crazy. Shout out to you, Jaba Karibu Sana. Thank you so much for the compliments, and also have a good day. And of course, Karibu Sana. Come 2024, let's wait what Malawi is let's wait and see what Malawi is gonna be looking like. What will be this response of the people? With the life, the cost of living be eased, or is it gonna be the same situation of where people need to hit the road because of poor payment? That is what he's talking about. He's talking about the increase of wages and everything. Let's see. Actions do talk better or louder than words. Okay? Actions and words. You can just yap, but with your actions, when it comes to you implementing them, it's always different. I mean, shout out to Malema. Let me share this video very quickly before I move on to what is happening now in the 254. When they're checked, they get mad, When they're checked, they get mad of being told, you've told people you're going to fulfill this, you're going to give proper housing, proper hospitality, proper schools, you're going to build schools for people. But no, we have to wait for Mr. Beast to come and give us the proper drains, bridges, while we have incomplete bridges that have, these people have spent 289 million. An incomplete bridge has just costed Kenya 289 million. An incomplete bridge. You guys, it's just super crazy. But let me share this very quickly. There's a video I wanted to share. Julius Malema has been told he should apologize. Personally, I think he shouldn't support Julius Malema at all. No, I used to think he was actually, I used to think he was truly fighting for the freedom of South Africans until I came to understand these opposition leaders, what they are all about and what they do, and why the CIA is not against them and on their neck. It makes sense. It makes sense. But let me share this very quickly as we get into Kenya. The situation in Malawi will not change because of what Julius Malema just said. They give manifestos, they'll make decisions, say all type of dumb shit, but nothing is ever gonna change.
The leader of the economic freedom fighters. Charaja's call comes in light of Malema's recent criticism of President William Ruto's administration during his visit to Kenya. Malema, renowned for his outspoken and occasionally controversial statements, accused Ruto's government of corruption and undemocratic practices. He further warned that the EFF would resist any endeavor.
Because he thinks that he's so qualified to apologize to those who are junior to him.
An opposition leader, Julius Malema, from entering Kenya due to the controversial remarks he made during his recent visit to the country. Speaking on Sunday, Charaja argued that Malema had shown
the truth. God damn it! What's disrespect? What disrespect? This is what all these people feel. It's you've been disrespectful. You've been disrespectful. When you're being checked, you feel disrespected. Shame on you. What disrespect is him saying you promise people to fulfill 1, 2, 3 things, but what you've done is bringing the Africa goddamn climate change, carbon emission, GMO, and approving this is not poisonous to humans. That is what they just approved. We can now eat GMOs. Literally, we're eating GMOs. And we've been eating GMOs for the longest time. The only problem is, and of course, they will never tell you, it was not declared openly the way it is right now. Talk about the yellow maize. Did you guys receive yellow maize when you were young in school? Because I did. I used to see this in our community. I come from a very fertile place. From where my grandma comes from, my mom comes from. It's a very fertile place. I used to see trucks coming and bringing us food. And I'm like, what's going on? Why are we receiving food aid while we have acres of land? Why are we receiving food? So I didn't know it was a thing going on. And until today, I've never literally known what my uncle was doing. Not my uncle, but one of my grandpas, what he was doing. This guy had acres of land. I used to see trucks. I was young to literally understand a lot, not to understand a lot. I used to see trucks coming, carrying the original food. But in the next few months, we're going to be seeing us begging for food. I'm like, what's really, really going on? Not really us, but him. He's going to be, the next day, he's facing drought, literally, after giving trucks of food. I'm like, what's really, really going on here? But that aside, what disrespect? What disrespect did Julius Malema say? He said the truth.
And the Kenyan people, suggesting that Malema should be compelled to issue an apology. He should tender an William Ruto as the president. You are insulting all Kenyans. Please. The vocal legislator asserted
don't put Kenyans on it, because I'm not one of them. I didn't feel no disrespect from the speech he said. I just said he should literally go and be concerned about his country. Because yeah, South Africans are suffering. They are suffering. And it's only literally the black South Africans, not the white, not the mulattoes. South Africans are suffering. That's all I said for me. But whatever he did say about the president was not is not to be apologized
Malema had no grounds to criticize President William Ruto.
Please, why can't I check on you while you are my fellow African, puppet? Why can't I check on you? Why can't I advise you? We're in the same continent, right? This is what we keep on talking about. And this makes sense. Why these puppets will not sit down and even discuss solutions of their own people. Because if I do check on you, you feel like, oh, you've been disrespectful. I mean, who are you? Do you know I got power here? Do you know I've met Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden? Shout out to Kagame for saying that.
Particularly on Kenyan soil, and is urging the government to deny entry to the sequence of his comments. I want to ask the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to demand an apology from Julius Malema and the EFF South Africa, and to deny him a visa and stop him from coming to Kenya.
Imagine.
Chirachi added,
The Malema should stop coming to Kenya and insult our president. In fact, I want to ask the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to demand an apology from Julius Malema from coming to Kenya again.
Are you dumb? Do you know the people should be denying visa? It is these crackers you keep on allowing in our country, okay? Those are the people should be literally not allowed to step a foot right here. It's crazy how you easily go against each other. Why don't you sit down and talk about this? Why does it have to be public made? What does he have to apologize for? I'm still startled by this. Like, he should be denied visa. But the Chinese can come in, Indians can come in, or we can have a whole Chinese square, and that is cool. While we have our own very own African who are trying. You're destroying the markets, the local markets. You've not even been supporting these people. You have the audacity and the nerve to even come. As these are the type of men we have in Africa. Shame on you, man. This is why I questioned some time back at the African men, because we have only weaklings. If these are the representatives we call leaders, these are weaklings, weaklings. And I say it again. You don't see the bigger problem. You see the smaller one. Then you call it that disrespectful. When you're being checked, you sound disrespectful. Shame on you. Grow some balls first, man. What are you talking about? It's just super crazy. But shout out to Polyamorous says, the majority of the people don't even understand politics well enough to elect a good president. And the problem also that we don't understand is that we don't even control our elections. Okay? We'll only take control of Africa once again, once we get rid of all these puppets. Just like I said last week, the only thing that needs to be done to be able to make Africa work, this is my own rule. Once a president deletes, dismiss, eliminates all this UN, EU, AU, all these nonsensical organizations that have been created here and not favoring none of us. That's what needs to be done. Rule number one. Secondly, all these puppets who have been in chair, in power, and have left the continent messed should all be checked, including the generation that exists. Okay? You can save the unborn one from the generation and try to change the mentality, because we'll be now changing the Africans' mentality. Get rid of all these US international organizations. You don't need no AU, no EU, no UN. Get rid of all the puppets who have been there. Now, before you even start claiming of an African president, okay, deal with each African country's problem, because there's a lot of mess in this continent. A lot. Have you seen Nigeria again? Do you guys see the poverty in Nigeria? If this doesn't shake your brain, especially you being African, you think literally, I thought Kenya, Kibera was the worst. Until I saw Nigeria. I thought Dandora was even way worse. But where we having people sitting and sitting on top of sewages, living and breathing that air. I can't literally even try imagine. I can't fathom my mind towards that. This is crazy. Let each African country be swept clean. Then from there, once we look and develop, let's give everyone a job. Let the continent develop. And I mean development, where we're using our own infrastructures. We have Africans who are very well skilled. Those who went to school, those who have degrees and PhDs that you lied to them to get so that they can get a job. Let's give those people a job. Let's develop the continent. Let's build manufacturing industries. And if we're to work with one country, again, let it be Russia. Strictly knowing and wanting to understand what is it that they want back from us. Don't go signing deals blindly like a drunk man, like who said it? The ex-president of Tanzania, John Magufuli. You can't be going signing deals blindly without noticing what you're signing. You need Russia in here to give you the skills of creating manufacturing industries. Let's do it. What is it that you want back in repayment? Strictly, and let the deals end. Strictly. Now from there, install the African president. That is my own case. I don't know about yours, what you guys think. But that is what needs to happen. This bullshit of blame games and all this needs to stop. This has been going on for so long. We see now Ruto saying it is Uhuru who's to blame for the economy crisis we're facing right now, while he's making it even way worse. And pardon that, this guy, mind you, he was a whole deputy president during Uhuru's time. So where were you? Oh, they created this false flag, we are enemies now, we can't talk to each other, so that we can buy that, and so that none of them is to blame. Because during their end of, partnership, they were enemies. They convinced Kenyans they're enemies of each other. And people bought that. Oh, now Ruto is going against Uhuru. Uhuru is going against Ruto. This is what they do. Like just what Polyamaras is saying. African people are not well educated and do not understand politics. That is facts. That is facts. Higher. Continue. DJ Roms, Karibu Sana, you're saying bless up, keep up, good work, and like it, DJ James Bond, Rome, superstar. Thank you, Karibu Sana. Nice to see you too, and to everyone with us right here on TikTok. Shout out to also Catherine Val. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. And of course, Nembu Nanisikizia Maeneo Gani. And what do you feel about Julius Malema? He came and said, Ruto is not fulfilling what he promised Kenyans. And now he's being asked to apologize. I don't think he needs to apologize for anything. He said what he said, which is true. But he should be able to free his people too. He calls himself a freedom fighter. Let him free his people in South Africa first. It's good to see African leaders checking on each other. But it's crazy to see when you're being checked, you want to call that disrespectful and you're demanding a whole apology. You can go to hell for all I care. You feel disrespected how you want. We're here to keep a check on you. You're to deliver, so deliver. Okay? No games. Jibo Jabo says, my perception of modern change when he wore a certain flag. Yeah. We remember that. We remember that. I remember that clearly. You're also saying that he doesn't provide a voice for the underserved South Africans. Exactly. And he calls himself a whole freedom fighter. You can barely even change the lives of your own people. We're having young women who have to wake up by 4:30 a.m. Okay? I have to leave the house by 5 in the morning to go to school. I have to wake up by 4, prepare myself. And maybe I have to go all the way to like what we saw Mr. Beast was showing the other day. Maybe 10 kilometers, 100 kilometers to get water before I take a shower going to school. And maybe when I get to school again, like what Mr. Beast just showed, the poverty of Africa, that is what he was trying to literally implement. Because why is the video surfacing still online? If he claimed, oh, I'm so scared, people are going to be nonsense. You're getting some YouTube money from showing poverty from us. Don't play us for a fool. We know you're getting so much money, especially from that video. You think we don't know what you've been doing? I may wake up from maybe 4. I have to leave the house by 5, be in class by 6. Then maybe when I get to class, I have to go fetch water also for the school. All of us. Make that make sense. You can barely even provide school buses. Let's see Julius Malema's car collection. Let's check. I love going on the car collection lately. Julius Malema car collection. Let's see. He has a BMW. We see. He has. Let me see the images. Let me share with you guys. Let me share the screen. I love checking on the car collection lately, because there's no you can tell me you have funds to buy bulletproof cars like Tinebu and a whole chopper and a whole yacht, which is bulletproof, but you can't provide a whole school bus for the students. Women have to be raped in a country which is highly populated with HIV and AIDS from crackers who you can't get rid of in your country. And you're coming to tell Kenya nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's the truth. And you should not apologize for it again. But again, it's nonsensical. You coming to check on me when you can't check on yours. You sound crazy. Catch it. Of course, they won't show everything. I doubt if this is truly his car collection that they're showing me here. There's nothing here to see, literally. But I see he has a Range Rover, Lamborghini. Not Lamborghini, but BMW and all that. But they won't provide school bus for young people, for students, to go to school safely without being raped by men. Again, the rape cases collected, the rape cases literally collected in a year, it's 40,000 in South Africa. In a year. 40,000. Those are the reported. What about the unreported? I also see Jibajaba says, I'd ask Ruto why you provide affordable okay. I'd ask Ruto why don't you provide affordable, reliable energy, water, and sewage for the whole population? Exactly. We're talking about right now Mombasa being flooded as it rains, some other parts of Kenya. The place that literally faces droughts majority of the time is now flooded. That is Africa. They want to tell you how we should deal with carbon emission, but not water proper drainage. Yesterday, the lights were going off and on. Now they're talking about the new world order. It's part of the new world. They say this, literally, it was on Twitter yesterday. It's part of the new world order, they say. It's part of it. Crazy, manze. Juba also says, I'd also ask, why can't you do a complete audit of Kenyan's finance, money earned and versus money spent? Exactly. And I also see you saying Nelson for president of Africa, period, manze. I love that name. I love my second name though. I do love my second name, Nelson. I love when I'm called Nelson, even than Joby. Yeah, so Jiba also say that that's a hard life. The stress alone, shortness of lifespan. That's true. That is true. That is literally, if you're talking about Nigeria, that is a shortness of a lifespan. Because you literally, can you imagine? Yo, guys, let me show again. Yo, Nigeria. Poverty. Let's see. Let me share the image as I wind up. This is what we're talking about. Where? This is what we're talking about. Where, if you can see my arrow, this is what I'm talking about. Rimpton, shout out to you, Glenn. This is what we're talking about. Family, if you can see my arrow, This, you can see a boat even here. This is a boat. People waiting to swim to go to the market or to school using a boat on top of a sewage. It's not even an ocean, man. And all types of slum shit you can see on your screen, man. And now you tell me, this is the type of living condition people are living on a daily basis. You have to breathe in because every house needs ventilation. So if your house has ventilation, you just breathe in sewage, literally. That's a short span of life, that's true. And maybe sometimes you don't even know how deep the sewage is. Maybe most of the people also do die there. Maybe most of the people do die there. And the way they have literally poorly made boats, constructed shit. We see how Africans end up drowning because of such kind of poorly made boats. We used to know how to make boats, but now we don't. Because what skills have we been given in our schools? Jesus? That's the only practical skills we've been given. Literally, that's the only practical skill we've been given. Jesus. Or let's pray. When you're in the parade, when you close in schools, when you open in schools, before you eat, you need to pray. Before you go home, you need to pray. This is school. And those are rules. Crazy, man. Jibba says, poor school fees and fetch water. That's some bullshit. Exactly. That's exactly. If you didn't watch the Mr. Beast video, you can go check on his YouTube channel. How he was filming the poverty. That's how I'm gonna call it. There's no help. Yes, there's help. But we didn't ask you for help. Did Kenya? Of course, you agreed with the Kenyan government, because there's no way you can tell me this guy just popped in the 254 and said, you know, I like this type of community and I'm going to fund my money right here. You're a whole foreigner. Who are you to come and make decisions here? Who's giving you this instruction and the go ahead? Somebody must have. Somebody must have. Crazy, manzi. But as we wind up to Haiti and what is happening. So, 7 days ago, we had a delay of the deployment of the police officers in Haiti due to unmet training and funding conditions. Okay? And they say that the Kenyan government announced, that was last week on Thursday, that its police officers will not be dispatched to Haiti until all conditions concerning training and fundings are satisfied. This follows the approval granted by the UN Security Council last month, allowing the Kenya to lead a multinational mission aimed at combating violent gangs in Haiti. Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki assured Parliament's departmental committee on administration and internal security that unless all the resources are mobilized and made available, Kenyan troops would not leave their country. So apparently, I think they met the necessities that they were requiring. I think apparently so far the UN and the US, who funded the money, the US and the UN. You know, so it sounds crazy knowing it's the same people giving details, same organization, same controlled people. But yeah, they're saying that the UN, this will not happen unless the departmental committee and administration, internal security, unless all the resources are mobilized and are made available, the troops would not leave. So I bet they have been met, because today we can see the deployment of the police officers has been approved. They're saying that the Kenyan Parliament has approved sending a contingent of police officers to help quell gang violence in Haiti, despite a court order barring the sending of the officers pending and hearing of a case. So the case is still pending in the court, but the Parliament has approved. The money was already pocketed. Why won't you get this, my people? I mean, you think once I get the money, and I'm certain Ruto is going to say, you know, I've spent this money on 1, 2, 3 things, so we can't give it back. The police officers have to go. At the end of the day, it's all about greediness with these puppets. The MP's decision came on Thursday, which is today in the morning, just as the court was hearing a petition on the legitimacy of the deployment. So in general, it has already happened. That is what we see. Genocide has been approved of 1,000 troops because we know what's going to happen there. We discussed this a couple of times. We know that the gangs in Haiti are funded and given weapons by the US. So what is really happening? What is Ruto doing to our dear selves? What is it that is really going on in Kenya? Because trust me, a lot is happening. The way decisions are being made right here, it's scary. Every day we're waking up and sleeping to every kind of scary shit. You can imagine right now, we're talking about even the peanut sellers being charged $1 million Kenyan shillings. That is $10,000, if I'm not wrong. $1 million Kenyan shillings if you're found selling nuts, peanuts, without the permission. Now you need a permit to become a groundnut seller in Kenya. Next is gonna be you need a permit for you to breathe. If you're not careful, you need a permit to breathe. And still, when you die, the death certificate is also expensive. So it's crazy to live, and it's also scary to die, because your family might not get your body unless you have money to get the death permit. The death certificate, sorry. The death certificates. That's the Africa we have today. With all that I've discussed, starting from the Central African Republic, same people creating the problem, same people bringing solution. Malawi, you getting rid of the foreign trips does not mean next year you're not going to attend them. You're talking about how you're going to increase wages for the citizens. Let's see. 2024 is here already. It's not far. The end of the year is already here. So we're going to see what Malawi people will have to say after you reading the budget in March. Mr. President Chikweru, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And in Kenya, the families of these 1,000 trips, what would say to you, it's a RIP, baby. They're not coming back. Because it's a matter of life and death in this one. So if your family member comes back among the troops that have been sent, well, good, and Jesus loves you, you know. Good, well and good, and Jesus loves you. He's been able to take care of a beloved one to come back home safely. But apart from that, nothing is of importance. But anyway, family, we're coming to the end of today's show. Jiba Jabba says, I thought that was a Delta. It's all yeah, God damn. Jiba Jabba, haven't you been here when the first time I got the culture shock, literally, that was a culture shock of me seeing the poverty rate in Nigeria. When I saw that, literally what I shared, I was shocked. No, I couldn't believe it. And I still don't believe it today. The poverty in Nigeria, that yes, you're shocked about, is crazy. And it's shocking. And it's scary at the same time. Because our babies being born and growing the same thing. And they're going to think these are norm. I'd love to understand which part of Nigeria is this. What's the level of illiteracy there and literacy? Because now I'm getting to understand a lot by checking that. Checking the level of illiteracy and literacy in every African country, trust me, tells you a lot. Why the country looks the way it is, if people understand what is going on or if they don't. That's my final remark. I also see Juba Jaba says, good episode, Nelson. You touched a lot. Good points. Stay strong. Thank you so much. And also saying a permit to take a poop is next. I tell you, even to pee, it's going to be crazy. If we now having poop water by Bill Gates, what's next? And he says, tastes like water. This is why I noted that from also Mr. Beast. Tastes just like water. The same words Bill Gates used. Tastes just like water. Same words Bill Gates used. Same words the Beast used. Mr. Beast is the Beast himself. But much love, family. Coming to the end of today's show. Asanteni sana to everyone who has been with me. See you guys tonight again on the Culture Show. I don't know what stories are going to be popping tonight. night, but I hope we're gonna be having a good one like last Tuesday. On Tuesday, it was really, really amazing. For those who keep on missing maybe the shows, that is for the culture show, which is a musical show for 2 hours. Kamlesh and I are always on the radio station and on TikTok. Jiba Jaba, you can also follow us on TikTok if you do have TikTok. Yeah, you can check us on TikTok. And to everyone who's here with us, if in case you don't make it, you can always be on the radio and on the show page, you can pin any music you will want to listen to, and we're there to take in the request as we bang and jump. Yeah, but much love, family. See you guys. A reminder, my birthday is in 2 weeks, so yeah, I'm very excited at the same time scared. You know me. If you know me, you know me too well. I'll keep on reminding you guys, my birthday is in 2 weeks. But much love, family. See you guys again tonight, and join Katie on the African Diary. This is Airplane Mode by NSG featuring Nines.
Airplane mode to ignore them. Yeah, we up, please, so I don't fear them.
Feel no pressure.
Airplane mode to ignore them. Yeah, we up, please, so Fuck the girl, I say how many matches, too many. You can get that by the Benjamin Mendy. All she wants is Fenty and cruising the Bentley. Rap niggas, I supply bricks. I got free phones once with my side chicks. So you better feel special if I let you in my life. All friendly in the DM, that can never be my wife.
Yeah, see, Jaba Jaba is saying that, yep, it's a good show, you and Kamlesh. It's always dope, man. Always having a good time, laughing here. Trust me, it's always a good one. That is for sure. So you can tune in from 8 to 10 p.m. The same time we do have the Africa Today show. If in case you've been missing and in case you're going to be catching this on a replay. Mind you, it's from 8 p.m. on the dot, not 8:15. 8 p.m. on the dot to 10 p.m. A 2 hour of good music station, and sometimes we even go 3 hours. So it depends with the vibe.
You getting too attached, but I need space. Trying to turn this Nokia into a briefcase. From the book,
with your host, none other than Josie.
man's really rich, you can pay me in Bitcoin or cash. I see NSG,